Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, David here, and welcome back to another video right before the weekend, and we're gonna have fun today. This type of video is probably my favorite type of videos to make on the channel, and of course, that's because we're gonna be speculating on Atlus, the future of Atlus, but it's different now for the simple reason that we don't know what's next. We have no idea what is the next game release that we're gonna get from Atlus. Is something going to shadow drop tomorrow, or are we gonna have to wait a whole year for them to give us another game? Now, we generally have an idea of what's next, right? Metaphor ReFantazio just came out a few days ago as of the time of recording this video, and I'm still having a ton of fun with it. I definitely don't want to dismiss Metaphor at all. I just want to have fun and speculate on what's next. And what I'm going to do is I have a list of topics, a list of potential games that I want to talk about with you guys and speculate on about when is it going to come out, when are they going to reveal it, in what form it's going to take. And I added most of my predictions for what I think is going to happen next, but I also added some of the games that I hear constant discussion around, right? Remakes of certain games, remasters, HD remasters, ports of certain games, and I want to speculate on what most people ask for, or at least what I tend to be reading in my comment sections, okay? So let's get right into it. With the first thing that I want to talk about, if you watched my last video, you already know about this, my last Atlus news episode, but the man himself, Mr. Hashino, which is the producer of Persona 3, 4, and 5, not Royal, but the original 5 before Wada took over, and he was also, or he is also, the producer of Metaphor ReFantazio, hard at work at Studio Zero, Atlus's new studio. Hashino was interviewed by Famitsu, and he already said that he is working on his next game. Now, it could be anything. It could be another new IP from Studio Zero. It could be Catherine 2. It could be anything at this point. We have no idea. Hell, nothing tells us in that interview that it is actually a Studio Zero game. It could be a Hashino being back on Persona, and he's actually producing Persona 6. We have no idea. If I had to put a bet on it though, we obviously talked about the huge success in terms of sales of Metaphor when it came out, selling 1 million copies worldwide in a matter of hours after the game came out. Incredible success for Atlus, so I would not be shocked at all, and you guys might not like what I'm about to say, but I think Hashino is potentially working on a Metaphor ReFantazio Royal of some sort. A new release of Metaphor with expanded content and an epilogue and lots of hours of new content and stuff, a definitive version of the game. I think that's possible. It feels crazy to speculate about that right now since, again, the game came out days ago. I'm not even done with the game yet. Honestly, if that is indeed correct, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I do think it is certainly a fair prediction since, again, the game sold extremely well, and obviously you want to take advantage of that, so I fully expect some more Metaphor content in the future. I hope it's a sequel. I just hope they're working on the next thing, and we're going to see it in 4, 5, 6 years or whatever. I hope that's what Hashino is working on, rather than just a re-release. Atlus is in a dangerous territory when it comes to these enhanced re-releases, so I hope they skip it for this one, and they give us the next Metaphor and not just Metaphor Royal, right? So I do have a few Persona predictions for this video, but let's get this one out of the way because it's the first one that people are going to talk about, and it's Persona 6. Persona 5 Royal came out 5 years ago. It's totally fair to say that a reveal for Persona 6 is going to happen soon-ish, at least. I'm fully expecting us to have an in-depth look and a name and in-depth trailers and a release date next year at that date for sure, if the game isn't out yet. So my prediction was we're gonna see it late this year or early next year, and it's gonna release late 2025. The Game Awards is the obvious big event, the next big event to point at when it comes to a potential reveal for Persona 6. Now, Persona 6 is going to be a huge reveal for Atlus. It's going to be their biggest reveal whenever that happens. So I think they have to choose carefully where they want to put the game reveal, right? I think the Game Awards being such a popular show, no matter if you like the show or not, it's extremely popular. It would put a lot of eyes on Persona 6, if they were to reveal it, it gives 2 months of breathing room for Metaphor after it launched, because the Game Awards is early December, and Metaphor came out early October, so I can see it happening. Otherwise, early 2025. How would they reveal it if it's early 2025? I have no idea. It's really hard to speculate about that. But again, if Jeff Keighley says that Atlus is going to be on stage at the Game Awards and nothing else, keep your eyes peeled on the Game Awards. That's all I'll say. I'm hoping for that for sure. Now let's move on from Persona for a little bit, and let's talk about a recent leak that we saw. Obviously, if you are not following my channel, which at this point, if you're still watching, I would appreciate you considering a subscription. I do weekly RPG content, a lot of Atlus stuff, and I cover Atlus news whenever something comes up. I'm generally first in line to talk about it, so this we talked about a few weeks back. Raidou Remasters, Devil Summoner, Raidou Kuzunoha Remasters. I mean, I used to think Digital Devil Saga made more sense. After seeing this leak, I kind of have to agree that it's probably going to be Raidou, because if you guys didn't know, to make a short story with this one here, what happened is Atlus updated the Steam database for the trophy list of Nocturne HD on Steam, but it was updated to show what appears to be Raidou trophies. Like, clearly, some of the stuff in that list of trophies is straight out of a Raidou game and not in Nocturne at all. Like, one of the trophies says, hey, you unlocked Raidou. Raidou isn't in Nocturne, so it's clear that this list of trophy is from a Raidou game, which means that Atlus is actually working on some sort of HD remastered Raidou game that is at least going to come out on Steam. So I expect a remaster along the lines of Nocturne HD for this one. When would it be revealed? I mean, this sounds like a Nintendo Direct mini or direct partner showcase type of thing. Atlus revealed a bunch of their games at partner showcases: SMT5, SMT3 Nocturne HD, the Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection. All of that was revealed in Nintendo Directs. So I think a first Nintendo Direct for 2025 in February or something, reveal Raidou ports for it to come out in the summer, makes a lot of sense. It's not the first time that I'm speculating about this. I think it makes a lot of sense. Shin Megami Tensei. Well, if it's not SMT ports, which again, a lot of people talk about potential ports for the older games, SMT 1 and 2, the anniversary just wrapped up for Shin Megami Tensei. The 30th of SMT wrapped up last year, and we had no game reveals, and I think that was the perfect opportunity to bring back SMT 1, 2, and potentially even if. It didn't happen, so I don't think there's really that much interest in Atlus to go back to these games. So I'm thinking if they go back to SMT and it's too early for the next mainline game, what if it's a new spin-off? I would really like to see that, a brand new Shin Megami Tensei spin-off. We used to get so many of them. Persona started as an SMT spin-off, if you didn't know. Digital Devil Saga, Devil Survivor, hell, even Devil Summoner, you could say, is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei in some way. So I am really looking forward to seeing what they can do with this. Now, what I would like to see, and what I think they are going to do if they go that route of giving us a new SMT spinoff, in terms of budget, scale, and scope, I am hoping and expecting for something along the lines of a Soul Hackers 2. Not this huge budget, years of development game like an SMT5 Vengeance, but a very good looking game that is fun to play and that is going to feel that niche for us hardcore SMT fans. Something along the lines of a Soul Hackers 2, but mainline spinoff, I think, is a fair prediction. But this is a out there prediction. I have no idea when or where they're going to reveal that, and it's really hard to place it on a timeline, so we'll have to wait and see. But I think for SMT, a new spinoff is hopefully the next thing that we'll see. I'm certainly hoping for that. I briefly mentioned it, but Etrian Odyssey, Etrian Odyssey Origins Collections came out last year. I think it was a way to test Etrian Odyssey on one-screen devices, since it released on Switch and PC. And I have no idea what the reception was to this trilogy of games being brought back to modern audiences. Etrian Odyssey has always been the niche series at Atlus. They don't sell as many copies, but there's so many games in that franchise that I am confident that they want to do a new one. I actually made an Everything That We Know So Far video about the next Etrian Odyssey, so if you are interested in learning more about Etrian, I don't want to go in depth about everything that we know, but we do know a few things. It was officially announced and stuff, so something Etrian Odyssey is going to happen anytime at this point. This also feels like a Tokyo Game Show / Nintendo Direct type of reveal, so I think it's definitely possible. Again, click the link in the video description if you want to learn more about this next Etrian Odyssey game. Alright, so some of y'all are tired to hear about this game, others are excited and hoping for news, and I'm going to be quick on this one because my prediction is simple. Persona 5 The Phantom X, the collaboration between Perfect World Games and Atlus, the gacha Persona games, which is out in Japan and Asia on mobile devices and PC. The betas were extremely successful, tons of registries, and for that reason I expect the devs and Atlus to localize the game, make it available in English on the same devices. Hell, it might even get a console version at some point. We talked about that in the news episode as well, where the developers are just explicitly asking, hey, would you play a console version of these games? Would you play this game in English? So I think there's definitely a desire to bring these games to the Western audience and worldwide in general, and I fully expect it. This one being a mobile and PC game, I think, and not being an Atlus developed in-house game, you know, I expect this game to just drop any day at this point. So I would not be shocked if it were to come out tomorrow or next week. I mean, it's possible, and I've been saying this, but I think this game is going to be playable on our phones in the West, Europe, anywhere that you are in the world at some point. I am hoping for that, and I'm thinking this is what's going to happen. Now, this is going to be a little more general, but I think one of the things or one of the projects that Atlus is certainly working on right now is something for Nintendo's next system. The Switch is 8-year-old, which is crazy to say. The Switch 2 it can be revealed anytime at this point. There's leaks every day talking about different things for Nintendo Switch 2 and this and that, and it gets a little old, I'll be honest, but whenever Nintendo has this big reveal for their system, I think Atlus is going to be one of the main partners that is going to show up at this event, because it took a long time, but they ended up being huge supporters on Switch. They have SMT5, which was their biggest mainline SMT success. It sold very well. It broke records extremely quickly on Switch alone, so I think they're going to want to have something at launch on Switch. I'm mostly thinking either a complete edition of Persona 3 Reload or a complete edition of Metaphor ReFantazio. I think is certainly possible alongside the Switch 2's reveal for sure. Hey, might be a stretch, but what about Soul Hackers 2? A complete version of Soul Hackers 2? Soul Hackers 2 skipped the Switch, so I think anything is possible. We'll have to wait and see, but I expect Atlus to show up at the Switch reveal alongside Sega with new project for the system. That's for sure. They're going to want to be in day one. Alright, so if I am to talk Persona a little bit more, I'm going to start with Persona 4 Remake. You're going to see a tendency with my predictions and thoughts, and it's the fact that if something is successful, they're going to do more of it. And Persona 3 Reload broke records for Atlus. Back then, before Metaphor came out, it was their fastest selling game of all time, with Reload selling 1 million extremely quickly as well. So I fully expect them to do Persona 4. It's a given at this point. Persona 4 Golden or Persona 4 is going to get the remake treatment. It's going to look like Persona 3 Reload. It's going to have a new soundtrack. It's going to have a little bit of different added content and quality of life features and stuff. So does it need a remake? I didn't think P3 needed one. It did well. P4, I don't think it needs one either, and I think it's going to do well whenever that comes out. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon because, to be clear, I expect Persona 6 before, but I wouldn't be shocked if after Persona 6 and let's say a Persona 6 spinoff or 2, we see Persona 4 remake. Maybe right after P6 too. It wouldn't shock me at all. Persona has momentum. More people at Atlus are working on Persona now than ever because of that momentum and success, so I think they're going to want to take advantage of that for sure. Now, we're still talking Persona, but if you guys have been watching my channel for a long time, thank you, by the way, I appreciate that, but one thing that we covered from start to finish is the infamous Persona 25th anniversary, and I'm gonna make y'all old with this one, but if you were there, watching with us, having fun, crying and laughing, doing both at the same time, the Persona 25th was an event. It was very special, and in terms of my content creation career, it was a special moment, again, because of the roller coaster of emotion that we went through with this one, with Atlus saying that they're porting Persona 4 Arena Ultimax to consoles because Persona 4 Golden did well on Steam. Yes, that's a true story. It was one hell of a struggle, but it was fun and it's good memories, but that was 2021, y'all. So think about that for a second. If that was 2021, that means that in 2 years, a little over a year and a half, we're going to see the 30th anniversary of Persona. So whenever that happens, y'all, whenever that happens, 2026, 2027, they're going to start. I think it would be, the exact date would be September 2026 if my maths are adding up. Don't quote me on that one. So it's kind of soon-ish. So for the 30th of Persona, I think we're going to see Persona 1 and 2 in some way, shape, or form. Now, we've seen, was it Hashino again or Wada in an interview recently, which again, we covered that in a news episode, saying, hey, I want to go back to Persona 1 and 2. I want to do something with these games. And I think right now they don't know what they want to do with them, but they know that they need to do something to please newer fans and older fans. So I think Persona 1 and 2 is going to happen at some point, probably plugged next to the 30th of Persona, because to me, that just makes sense. Alright, so I've been rambling long enough, but what do you guys think of what's next for Atlus here? I don't know what's next for Atlus at the moment, and that's very exciting to me because that means that whenever we see an event, a State of Play, an Xbox partner show, a Tokyo Game Show, a Game Awards, a Nintendo Direct, I'll be streaming it, and who knows, we might pop off and go crazy because a new Atlus game gets revealed, or maybe I'm gonna be, you know, taking a leak and the piss and miss for those of you who know. I mean, it happens. Thank you all so much for your support. You have a great weekend, take care of yourselves, and once again, thank you for watching the video. It means the world to me. Bye.